Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Lavarien Grundy, and this is 5 Minute Breakfast. Today's breakfast, we're going to continue with what we were speaking of on our last couple of installments, and we're going to get straight into the Word as we were looking at how things can happen that seem so unfair to our human brains, that seem so unfair, they seem wrong. But we have to always remember that God is in control. It's how we look at the situation, how we deal with the situation that makes all the difference. Because God is always in control. And everything will work out to the good for those that love God. And we were reading about Joseph, and Joseph, he was made a slave, and then he was made captain of his master's house, and then he was put into prison. So once you overcome one situation or one challenge, get ready for the next one, because it's coming. It's on the way. So be ready. Be ready. And this is Joseph after he was thrown in prison, thinking about and concerned about some of the other prisoners. Now he's in prison, and there was a baker and a butler, and they had a dream, and Joseph took the time to interpret their dream for them. Now if you're in prison, and especially being in prison for something that and this could be even imprisonment in your mind, something that you were falsely accused of, or you haven't done anything wrong, and you still take the time to be concerned about someone else's situation. That is huge. That is huge. And he asked the butler to just remember him after he interpreted the dream, to remember him once he got out. And this is in Genesis 40:23. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. And we're going to skip to the 41:9. Then, and this is after Pharaoh has a dream and no one can interpret it. And then the butler remembers Joseph. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servant, and put me in the ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream, and one night I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And what happened, he interpreted their dreams. And this is after he's been sold into slavery, basically set free and made captain of his master's house, put back into prison. Think about that. It seems so unfair, but there's a purpose and a point behind all of it. But it's how he looks at the situation. He still continues to trust God. He still continues to trust him. And so Pharaoh has a dream, and then he brings Joseph out to interpret the dream. And listen what Joseph, who he gives the credit to, all that he's going through. A lot of people turn their back. There's no way there could be a God. This has happened to me, or that has happened to me, or this is happening to that person, or whatever. And they become very discouraged of believing in the Father and believing that he is just. But this is what Joseph says. And this is 41:16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. He still is giving God the credit for the good in him, for the ability in him, in spite of how unfair things may seem. how humanly wrong things may seem. Still giving God the credit. And we don't have enough time today. We're going to continue again tomorrow, God willing. I believe that He is. But until then, always remember that God loves you in spite of you. And I pray that you have a beautiful day.